Okay, in this video we're going to learn how to rip through a piece of plywood. So a couple ways to do this. One is we're going to measure off a line. So I'm going to go and first of all I want to check that this piece is square. So let's go and measure diagonals really quick. So this diagonal from corner to corner is measuring, I got the bottom of the tape measure hooked on that corner, so I'm reading the bottom all the way across. It's reading 53 1/4. And so then I'm going to do the same thing from the other corner. So I'm going to hook that. Come on. There we go. And I'm measuring 53 1/4. So this is a square piece. I can also check that this is the same and the other end's the same, but it could have been a parallelogram. So by measuring the diagonals, I know it's square, which you'll learn later in the geometry part of the class. And then here, what I can do is, let's say I want to rip this piece to be a lot thinner. So I want it to be, instead of 23 3/4 long, I can go and make it, let's say 18. So I'm going to go and put a little measurement here at 18. And now that I have that at 18, I should probably sharpen my pencil. Let's make a better mark. And we'll make it off the material a little bit, off the edge. There, 18. And then I'm going to go and do the same thing at the top at 18. And then here's a trick. There's a couple ways to do this. One is I can actually take my tape measure, pinch my pencil with it. This is an advanced technique. I can put my pencil on my line, and then with my other hand I can use my finger to pinch the tape measure, and I can transfer a line like this straight down, which basically translates the edge of the board to a parallel line off of it. If I want to have more control, I can do that on the shorter end. Once again, this is a pretty advanced technique. If you want to double check it, you can see if you're still at 18 going across. So it looks like I'm a little off on that. Now, the other way to do this, which is the way that we want you to do it in class, because it's the most accurate, and we're going for accuracy here in class, is we can hook a chalk line on the edge where we have marked, and then we can pull this thing. Whoops. Okay, so as I was saying, the two marks that I made, actually the best way to do it, the most accurate way, is to use a chalk line. So I'm going to go and hook right where I had my mark at 18 on the one side. I'm going to pull this all the way through, keeping that hook, and then I'm going to go and loop my finger around here and pull tight and hold it on that other mark, and I'm going to pull up and snap straight down, and that line becomes my line connecting my measurement on the top and the bottom. So we checked for square on our piece, we measured over at 18, and then we snapped a line between point to point to make a line segment. So 2 points make a line segment. And then from here, I'm ready to cut this, and I remember that the waist side is on that side of the material, because I measured 18 on this side of the material going from left to right. So now that I'm ready to make this cut, I can use this deck here to overhang my board and make the cut. And I want to just make sure it's far enough away from the edge so I don't actually accidentally cut the edge. And for safety's sake, we can make this a little extra safe by tacking down that piece of plywood. So I'm going to grab my hammer real quick, which should have been in my tool pouch, and I'm going to go and tack this board down. So I'm just going to throw one nail on either end, and if I put it far enough away from where I'm cutting, the saw won't hit the nail. And I can leave a little bit of the head of that nail up as long as I don't trip on it, so I can easily pull it back up and out of the way. So with my circular saw, now this becomes a freehand cut. So I want to constantly be watching the notch and the blade as I go and make this cut. With my body, I'm going to keep my body off to the side, and when I go through, I'm going to kind of just walk next to it, keep watching the saw through and through your cut. Once again, you don't want to twist the saw to the left or to the right when you're cutting. We want to keep it straight. If you find that it's whining on you, it probably means that you're twisting your wrist, and you want to stop the saw and call a teacher over and ask for help. So I'm gonna start with the nibble, come back, see where you're at. We're on the good side of the line, so we're all good. We're gonna go back in there. Before I push all the way forward, I'm gonna turn the saw on. Now we slowly walk with it, keep our balance. At the end, you really have to make sure you look through the window because you can't use the notch anymore for that. Okay, and so we cut our chalk line all the way through. That pencil line wasn't where we were going. We were going with just the edge pencil line and the blue chalk line. So that's cut all the way through. And we could double check everything if we want, just see if everything was done accurately. So 18 was what we wanted. Looks like we got it, which is nice.